went down to Reading for these, got a full set from Rage, and they do look the part. We've got BF Goodrich AT3s on. I don't think we're going to be getting stuck with this, but we'll see how we go. So we've got a full set on now. So another thing that we've had today is we've had a bit of a setback in that we have had to remove the kitchen again. We had a little bit of a problem with our vent on our Truma. So because we've put the vent on this side of the van rather than the other, we had a little issue with the door. I'm just about to see down there. So down that gap there, that little black thing you see is basically the Truma outlet. There we go. So what we had to do is we had to space out the door a little bit to give it a bit more room. And another thing we've had to do is the framework, when we put our worktop on, was actually catching on the door. So when we come to close the door, it wouldn't close in. So we've had to move this and rejig it a little bit. We've only moved it back approximately 20 mil here. So we've taken a little bit of wood off. Going to repanel this, obviously reposition this and get everything back into place before we reassemble. So that's the job today. Bit of rain, but you know, we keep going. So we're going to crack on with this, get this out of the way, and then hopefully get everything back to what as it was yesterday. So we'll see how we go along. So that's firmly back in place. We can see we'll be rocking the van soon. Right, so we've got his back to put on, and then we'll come and put our worktop on. Mark that. We're going to have to take a small amount of wood off the worktop to compensate for us moving it around a little bit, but nothing that's going to tax us today. Should go back fairly easy. Famous last words. So we've now got the drawers in, and we've gone for hinges, or rather runners that can be used to lift it out. So the good thing about this is if we need access to this area here, our Truma, we can still get in there. So we've got the drawer at the top, This one's a little bit stiff. Right, so we've now got our 3 drawers in position. Right, nice and easy. Just got a few little other things to do, but that will probably take our slow cooker and kettle and toaster and everything else. So today what we're looking at is the catchers that we're going to be using to hold the door shut and the drawers. And what we've opted for is these little press to open ones. Nice and easy, nice and simple. So you've got a little cover that goes onto the top and it gives you a nice recess button. When you press it, it unlocks the lock and also comes through sufficient, so we'll think about that much, to get hold of the handle to open the door. And then once you've closed the door, you click it once again, brings out this lock and locks the door. Now to fit these is a little bit of a task if you're trying to use thin wood. And what we've ended up doing is we've ended up putting a little bit of a backing area on this one and on the rest of the doors that we're going to be using, so that the spacing is correct for that to be pressed in. Now once that's pressed in fully, so you've got to make the hole tight enough for it to bite. So once that's pressed in fully, when you put the catch in, it becomes really close to the end, and then when you press the button it comes out so you can grab the end. So they do work quite good. I've seen them on a lot of campers. We bought these from Amazon. They are a little bit smaller than the ones we bought from Just Campers, but they do exactly the same thing. So we're just trying to work out where to put the crossbar in for the catchers, so that when we've got our doors closed they'll actually lock, so they're not going to be rattling in and out. Got the top one in, so that works out quite well. You can see there we've made a bracket there. So the wiring for the 12-volt system is quite easy. You've got a red and it's marked up with a plus and a negative with the line. So we've got these 2 connections up there. They're running from our Truma unit. We've then got this pump wiring, and we've got as information up to our Truma unit on that one. We've got 2. Not sure if that's just for a diagnostic or whether or not you could use either. So the only thing left there is this small plug here, and that's for our temperature sensor. At the moment we're just trying to work out where best to site the temperature sensor so that we get a good reading, so it's not coming on and off all the time, and it's also coming on and off when we need it. So we're going to be sighting that up very shortly. So at the moment we're trying to work out a way of mounting our Truma control panel. So it looks like we're going to have to cut a piece into that, and above that in this particular section we've got another control panel for a pump, so for the sure flow pump for the water, and also we've got a light switch to put in that as well. I mean, this will be painted as well, very similar to what we did when we were putting in the Victron Energy display. So now hopefully if I can get this right, the Truma will go in the bottom, the light switch in the top. So we're just marking that out at the moment. So we've got our location there. So that looks like the holes we're going to be coating for the light switch and for the Truma set. So now what I'll do is I'll drill a hole in the wood here and go around with a jigsaw, cut that out, do exactly the same on that one, and I'll bring you back when we've done that. Right, so we've cut our first hole out. It's a rough cut to see whether or not we're going to be taking it fully out to that size to make sure it'll fit in. We've also got to think about these sliders. So these slide and lock the Truma in, so you're going to be putting that underneath, and then at the bottom here we've got a locating tab that we need to screw off. Now luckily on the Truma we can gently prise it off. There we go. So we've got our screw here, so we can just undo that, and that allow that tag hopefully to screw out far enough for the width of our unit. I think that is going to be plenty, but we'll see how we go. So we're just going to tidy up this, sand it, and then make everything fit. So that's our finished piece for the Truma at the bottom. So hopefully now everything will fit in. So we've just got that locating tag to screw in. There we go. So you can see on that one the locating tag just locates there. Got a couple of hooks at the top that keeps everything in, and that's our Truma display mounted. We'll now move on to the top one with the switches. So I'll take this one out while we are working on that. There we go, that comes out quite easily. So our switch panel comes in 3 parts. So we've got the switch itself and switch at the back. We've then got the mounting for it and the cover plate or face plate. So we've marked out where they need to go. That of course goes over the top. We've got 2 screws there to hold that on, and then once that is fastened in position, that simply clips into place like so, and that finishes it off. Insert into there, and the clearance is enough for us to enable to get to the switches at the back and the connections. So we'll move on to that one next. So we've now got his hole cut, and what we're going to do is we're going to insert that into our hole. One thing they don't supply with the kit is the screws. We've got some really small screws that's going to go in here. We've got a couple of little tags either side of this. They're going down there. So that's our switch panel in. I'll now fit the Truma one. The wiring in first. Take the top in. Show it up there. Locking mechanism across. And then our face plate to be placed on. And that just snaps into place. So that's our finished panel. Now that's going to be going up similar to what the Victron was. It's going to be in place near our cupboards. So that's the next thing. We're going to paint this, finish it, and then look at the wiring at the back. So we've left ourselves enough wiring space clearance around them holes to be able to connect our wiring on. Similar with this one, we've got a lead that comes off this one, so we should be able to enable ourselves to get into this area once it's fitted. And that's where it's going to go once it's connected up. So we've got that sighted. The reflection you can see here is off the eye gloss of the panels, that furniture board. But as you can see, we can get to the switches, we can get to the Truma, and then we've got room back there to get to the wiring and anything else that we have in that place. So that's another job ticked off the list. We are wiring up the sensor for the Truma. Without the sensor on it, it doesn't work. Can't work out whether it's hot or cold. So we're going to be installing that in our cupboard at the top. So we're going to put this here, which is close by the door and not too high so that it thinks it's hot all the time. So first thing to do is to work out where the wiring is going to come. So we've routed our wiring through there into here, and then we're going to go through this hole here. Just going to analyse that for the sensor, and once that's done we can pop in the sensor. May have to put a little bit of paint on that, depending if we can still see the wood. No, not a problem. Now there is a little hole at the side, a bit difficult to see. Probably just about see it there. So we put that this way to the middle of the ramp. That covers it up. Now one thing that has come in useful for attaching framework or wood to the metal is a riving up tool. Now some people are familiar with this, some people aren't. So what we're going to do is just show you some of the things that comes with the tool, and later on we'll be using it to attach something to the steel. So basically what you've got is a rivet that you put in like a normal rivet, but on the internal bit it has got a thread. So let's show you what they are. So basically you've got that, and internally there's a thread inside. Now we're going to be using this tool to compress and pull the thread through, so that gets screwed onto that area. This is then inserted into the hole that we're going to be using, and then the tool itself, you compress these two arms and that draws in the rivet and then compresses it. It doesn't snap off like a normal one, but it just basically squeezes together. It compresses this area and affixes it into the hole that you're going to be requiring. Now the good thing is, or one thing that you need to know, is that this hole needs to be quite tight as it goes in, so that when it compresses it doesn't pull back out afterwards. So they do come in different sizes, so you can get some of the larger ones pliers fittings. I mean, we've got quite a few arranged here. We're only using the smaller ones. I think we're only using like the M8s or the M10s. But these will allow us to fix things. I mean, we've used one here where we've fixed a screw to the metal of the van, so that gives us a good fixing into the metal rather than just into wood with a screw. But you know, it's like anything else. The tools that we are using, easily obtainable. Sometimes you can get these on hire, so you're renting it for a specific amount of time for the job that you need to do. But that's the rivet nut tool. This is a Clark one. There's other variations on the market, and I would imagine that if you went on one of the marketplaces you would find some there. So with the Truma all fired up and ready to go, turn that on, run it for a little bit. Truma's on, and it's getting warm. Yep, that's hot enough to wash up with. So success. We've now got hot and cold water running through the van. So quite an eventful episode. Obviously we've shown the new wheels that we got from Rogue Alloys. We'll put a link in the description for anybody that wants to look at the range of wheels to fit their campers or vans. We've got the kitchen unit back in again. That was something we hadn't planned for, and it was possibly just because we put the unit in before the sliding door panel, and we come across a problem there with that. So we've remedied that by moving it over about 20mm. We've had to recut the worktop and the floor to compensate for that 20mm, give us a bit of clearance on the door. Obviously we've shown you the push button locks that we're going to be using throughout the van to keep the cupboard drawers and the doors closed. Hopefully they'll be successful. And obviously we've got the rivet nut tool that we've used throughout the build. It makes things a little bit easier when it comes to fastening things to the steel of the van. So all our framework is basically held on by either rivet nut or the self-drilling screws that we've shown you earlier on. So if you like what you see, if you want to give us that big thumbs up, that will be appreciated. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, that will keep you informed about what the progress of the build is. But that wraps up this episode, so we'll see you next time when we continue our build on the Sprinter. Bye for now. So if you like what you see, give us a big thumbs up. That's always appreciated. And if you'd like to subscribe, oh God, my teeth in.